are minor authors. And also, I mean, from Bram Stoker, there has been no question asked, but then you can expect one question. Why? Because he is the author of Dracula, if you remember. So you can expect that in near future they can ask you, because one question has been asked in Gate, not in Net, but in Gate. Okay, that was
Okay.
MS2, if I'm not wrong. So while I appeared in Gate in my first attempt, so I have got this question, but I have seen that movie Dracula and also read the plot, so I was able to answer that correctly. Okay, that's why we will
Okay.
be reading Bram Stoker. Apart from that, Christopher Isherwood, Bertrand Russell, again, he's a philosopher, but because one question has been asked in UGC-NET, and that is also because he has won Nobel Prize in Literature. Okay, that is the reason why Bertrand Russell has been asked in UGC-NET once. Okay, that's why he is also included here. Then G.B. Priestley. J.B. Priestley is again a playwright as well as novelist. So we will be reading about him. So let's begin with Bram Stoker. So as you can see that Bram Stoker, his lifespan is from 1847 to 1912. He is an Irish author. Okay, and his novel, the very important novel because of which he is very famous, is Dracula, published in 1897. Now, this Dracula, you will see that there is a character Jonathan Harker in this novel. He is traveling to Castle of Castle of Transylvania. Okay, he is traveling to Castle of Transylvania. There he actually finds the Dracula, Count Dracula. Okay, Romanian kind of setting is there in this castle, and in that Castle of Transylvania there is Count Dracula. Okay, and Jonathan Harker's fiance is Mina Murray. Okay, Mina Murray is the fiance of Jonathan Harker. Then, when he reached there in the, I mean, in that castle, he realized some unusual things. Okay, so there were three women trying to, I mean, capture him. He was quite frightened, and then Dracula comes and saves him from those three women. Okay, then what happens there is that this Count Dracula, he leaves the castle, and Jonathan Harker somehow tried to escape that castle, and he succeeded in that. Okay, but then this Count Dracula also traveled to the city where Jonathan Harker was living. Okay, chasing him. Then at the end of the novel, you will see that Abraham Van Helsing, Jonathan Harker, and other, they were able to hunt the Dracula down. Okay, at the end of the novel, they hunt the Dracula, and that's how the novel ends. Okay, so there is this gothic setting. You will find this castle and also some supernatural element, because that is a kind of Dracula who sucks blood. There are very explicit sexual scenes in the movie as well as in the novel itself. Okay, so these are the important information that you need to know about Dracula. That where he is traveling to Castle of Transylvania. It is an epistolary kind of novel because it begins with a letter, a diary writing. Okay, he's writing. Jonathan Harker is actually writing these incidents in the diary. Okay, this was also the option when I was appearing in Gate. They have asked that it begins with a, I mean, is it a kind of epistolary novel? So this was there in the option, because the thing is in Gate they ask MSQ, multiple selection question. ठीक है, तो वहां पे आपको multiple आंसर सेलेक्ट करना होता है. So they have asked this question. I mean, they have given this setting of Transylvania. They have also provided with this information that it is an epistolary novel. तो मैंने वो दोनों select किया था, वही सही option था. ठीक है? That was the correct answer. तो जो important incidents है वो है मतलब characters हैं जोनाथन हार्कर, मीना मुरे, अब्राहम वैन हेल्सिंग, then Count Dracula. Okay. One sequel has been written by the grand, uh, yeah, grandson of this Bram Stoker. Okay, One sequel has been written by the grandson of or great grandson of Bram Stoker. The name of the person is Dacre. Okay, Dacre Stoker. Okay, Dacre Stoker. Dacre Stoker wrote a sequel to Dracula. The name of the sequel is Dracula the Undead. Okay, Dracula the
Okay.
Undead is the sequel written by Dacre Stoker. He is the grandson of Bram Stoker. Fine. This much information
Uh,
you need to collect regarding Dracula. Now, other important, I mean, not so important, apart from Dracula, is not very famous for any work, but then you can remember Waters Mow, The Mystery of the Sea, because these novels are set around Cruden Bay. Okay, because he went to this Cruden Bay, he stayed there, and the experiences that he gained at Cruden Bay that resulted in The Water's Mouth as well as The Mystery of the Sea. These two novels he has written there. Okay, during his stay at Cruden Bay. Fine. Dracula, The Water's Mouth, The Mystery of the Sea, and then this novel, The Lady of the Shroud. Okay, The Lady of the Shroud, published in 1912. It is a kind of, I mean, partially a kind of science fiction, not in holistic sense, but in partial science fiction. It supports some of the idea of progress and technology. Okay, that much information you need to remember. As I have told you that no question has been asked from Bram Stoker, but then question has come in gate, so you can expect that they can ask you in UGC net also. Fine. So with this, let us move on to the next author, Christopher Isherwood. Now, Christopher Isherwood, one important thing about his, I mean, this is associated with his life, and this is historical kind of incident. So, one important incident is that um, he was born in Britain. He traveled to Germany. He stayed there in the Germany. Then, with the rise of Hitler in Germany, okay, he left Germany and moved to America. Later, he got the citizen of America, USA. Okay, why I'm telling you? Because you will find the reference of Germany in his stories. Okay, so that will help you to remember. So he was born in Britain, traveled to Germany, stayed there because of the rise of Hitler in power in Germany. Uh, Before the Second World War, he left Germany, he went to USA, and then he later got the citizen of America. So if you remember, Christopher Isherwood and W.H. Auden, they belong to the same group. What was the name of the group? I have taught you. Do you remember? Auden group. What is the other name that has been ascribed to this particular group? Do you remember? Auden group, Max Pounded, Max Pounded, isn't it?
yeah.
Max Pounded, Pile
We
and
got
Poet,
silent for
Pile
a
and Poet.
painter.
So these all names are associated with them. Now, why I'm telling you is that Auden and Isherwood went to America in the same year, 1939. They migrated to America. Later, they got the citizenship there, but they migrated to America in the same year, 1939. That's why I'm telling you this. Okay, this should be your approach to relate one author with another to remember it for longer period of time. Okay, so
Uh,
Isherwood and Auden, they traveled to America in
American.
1939. Later on, they got the American citizenship. Okay, they left Britain. Now, Isherwood was also a homosexual person. Okay, he was in relationship with two men. Okay, in a homosexual relationship. So that is also interesting because some of the reference you will find in his works also of this homosexual relationship, gay lesbianism. These all things that comes in the later half of the 21st century. So you will find, I mean, 20th century, sorry, 20th century, you will find these references there. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
another important incident regarding to his associated with his life is that Truman Capote, Truman Capote, if you remember the famous American novelist, author. So Truman Capote was influenced by Isherwood. Okay. Later, when Isherwood went to America, he became friend with Truman Capote, and Truman Capote was very much influenced by Isherwood's work. Okay, these are the
Okay.
important incidents that you need to remember. Now, I have told you that Auden and Christopher Isherwood together they have written some of the plays that I have already told you. I will again repeat it, but it is important. I mean, that has been asked in UGC-NET that Auden and Isherwood has written three plays by collaborating. Okay, and they have been asked in UGC-NET those plays. Okay, the title of the plays, not the depth questions.
Okay.
One more important information is that Aldous Huxley and Isherwood. If you remember, while I was teaching you Aldous Huxley, I told you that Huxley was associated with Vedanta Society. Okay, Vedanta Society, which was
Yeah.
initiated by Swami Prabhananda. Okay,
Okay.
Swami
Yeah.
Prabhananda. So Huxley was very much deeply influenced by Swami Prabhananda, and he was associated with this Vedanta society. Later on, Isherwood also joined that society. Okay, Vedanta society. Christopher Isherwood plus Aldous Huxley, they were associated with Vedanta society. Okay, and why it is
Okay.
important? Because one work is there, the translation of Gita that has been done by Christopher Isherwood along with Swami Prabhananda. Okay, that's why I'm telling you that work will come later. Now, now that we are done with this historical event, let us come to the work. So I have told you that three works, three plays has been written by Christopher Isherwood in collaboration with uh,
Okay.
W.H. Auden.
Congratulations.
Okay, these three plays are The Dog Beneath the Skin, The Ascent of F6, On the Frontier. Do remember this. This question has been asked in UGC Net. That's why I'm telling you. The Dog Beneath the Skin, Ascent of F6, On the Frontier. Okay. Now, in The Dog Beneath the Skin, there is this character, Alan Norman. This story depicts the quest of Alan Norman to find Sir Francis Cress. Okay. Okay, he is after Sir Francis Crest. Okay, he wants to search for or look for Sir Francis Crest. But what happens means in the play it has been shown कि वो जो सर फ्रांसिस जो जिसको वो ढूंढने निकला था ना एलन नॉर्मैन वही डॉग है वो डॉग का
Okay.
शेप में उसके साथ ही घूम रहा है
Okay.
ठीक है तो एलन नॉर्मन एक कैरेक्टर है ALANNORMAN एलन नॉर्मन किसके किसके तलाश में है सर फ्रांसिस क्रेस सर फ्रांसिस CRESS ठीक है उसके खोज में है ठीक है लेकिन वो एक डॉग के साथ निकला है ढूंढने के लिए सर फ्रांसिस क्रेस को और बाद में पता चलता है कि वो जो डॉग लेके घूम रहा था ना वो सर फ्रांसिस क्रेस ही था वो अपना मतलब कि वो अपने आप को ट्रांसफॉर्म कर लिया था वैसा में ठीक है
Okay.
और ये जो सर फ्रांसिस क्रेस को क्यों ढूंढा है एलन नॉर्मन क्योंकि सर फ्रांसिस क्रेस जो है वो एक मिसिंग हेयर ऑफ हनी पॉट हॉल है एक हनी पॉट हॉल है वहां का मिसिंग हेयर है उत्तराधिकारी है उसको ढूंढ के लाना है कि वो अपना संभाले अपना प्रॉपर्टी वगैरह ठीक है तो एलन नॉर्मन ढूंढने गया लेकिन सर फ्रांसिस उसके साथ ही है हमेशा कुत्ता बन के ओके देन वी हैव एसेंट ऑफ F6 इसका सबटाइटल था अ ट्रेजेडी इन टू एक्ट्स ओके सबटाइटल इज आल्सो इंपॉर्टेंट राइट इट डाउन अ ट्रेजेडी इन टू एक्ट्स इसमें एक कैरेक्टर है इंपॉर्टेंट कैरेक्टर माइकल रैनसम बस माइकल रैनसम अ ट्रेजेडी इन टू एक्ट्स देयर इज दिस कैरेक्टर माइकल RANSOM रैनसम ठीक है इसका बहुत ज्यादा स्टोरी जाने का जरूरत नहीं ऑन द फ्रंटियर जो है इसका सबटाइटल था अ मेलोड्रामा इन थ्री एक्ट्स अ मेलोड्रामा इन थ्री एक्ट्स फाइन Uh, he also wrote about his experiences of the culturally mixed city of Berlin in The Last of Mr. Norris and Goodbye to Berlin. Goodbye to Berlin, very important, story. And it was also a kind of novel. Okay, Goodbye to Berlin is a novel. Later on, it was published in a short story collection, but then it was a kind of novella, you can say. Okay, so गुड बाय टू बर्लिन और लास्ट ऑफ मिस्टर नॉरिस। देखिए ये स्टोरी कहाँ का था? बर्लिन का। बर्लिन कहाँ है? जर्मनी में। दैट्स व्हाई आई टोल्ड यू दैट हिज ट्रैवल फ्रॉम ब्रिटेन टू जर्मनी देन टू अमेरिका इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। अगर आपको याद रहा कि कौन ऑथर गया था जर्मनी, तो इशरवुड गया था। अगर आपको ये याद रहा तो आप इसका तुरंत टाइटल को पता लगा लेंगे। मैक्सिमम जो इसका टाइटल है इसके बाद नोवेल का देखिएगा उसमें कहीं ना कहीं जर्मनी आएगा। ठीक है? So if you want to remember Christopher Isherwood, then try to remember that he went to Germany and Berlin is in Germany. Okay? So the last of Mr. Norris and Goodbye to Berlin are the novels written by Christopher Isherwood. Then Isherwood first novel जो था वो था All the Conspirators. पहला नोवेल ये था। ठीक है? Do remember this? All the Conspirators is his first novel. Then ही इमिग्रेटेड टू यूनाइटेड स्टेट। देखिए 1939 में ही ऑर्डन भी इमिग्रेट किया था ना। ठीक है? 1946 में इसको अमेरिकन सिटीजनशिप मिल गया। अब देखिए दीज आर दी होमोसेक्सुअल पार्टनर ऑफ इशरवुड। ओके, हेंस नेडरमेयर एंड डॉन बचार्डे। ओके, डॉन बचार्डे, these are the homosexual partner of Isherwood. Now, important information is that, I mean, from historical point of view, that Heinz Nedemer was one of the companion whom he found in Germany, and when because of the rise of the power of Hitler, he wanted to escape Germany. He wanted to come to America. So he came to America, but then Heinz Nedermeyer was not permitted to enter into America क्योंकि वर्ल्ड वॉर वाला सिचुएशन था। जर्मनी के लोगों को नहीं दे रहे थे। ठीक है? क्योंकि इशरवुड जो था ये तो ब्रिटेन से था ना, तो इसको मिल गया अंदर जाने का जगह। ठीक है? अमेरिका में आने के लिए मिल गया, लेकिन हेंस नेडरमेयर को नहीं मिला था। इशरवुड डिड एवरीथिंग in his power to somehow, I mean, let the Heinz Niedermeyer enter into the USA, but he was not successful. ठीक है? हेंज निडरमेयर को वो कभी भी अमेरिका के अंदर आने नहीं दे पाया। ठीक है? कभी वो घुसा नहीं पाया अपने पावर यूज करके भी। फाइन। तब अमेरिका में उसका नया पार्टनर बना डॉन बेचार्डी। ओके, सो विद दीज टू पर्सन ही वाज इन होमोसेक्सुअल रिलेशनशिप। फाइन। Now his later novels are Prater Violet, The World in the Evening, Down There on a Visit, A Single Man, and Christopher and His Kind. He died in Los Angeles, California in 1986. Now let us see major work of Isherwood. So as I have told you, the first novel is All the Conspirators. It's a new edition. Its new edition was in 1957 with a new forward. So you can just remember the name of the title. Okay, the name of the book. All the Conspirators. Then second important novel is The Last of Mr. Norris. The Last of Mr. Norris. It was published in United States as Mr. Norris Changes Train. Mr. Norris Changes Train. तो टाइटल सही लग रहा है ना, कुछ ट्रेन का कहानी होगा। तो ये बर्लिन का ही कहानी है। ठीक है? बर्लिन, बर्लिन का ही कहानी। मैंने बोला था बर्लिन बार बार आएगा। तो इसमें क्या होता है, विलियम ब्रैडशॉ एक कैरेक्टर है। विलियम ब्रैडशॉ, BRADSHAW। विलियम ब्रैडशॉ जो है वो आर्थर नॉरिस, ही मेट आर्थर नॉरिस ऑन ट्रेन। ठीक है? और दोनों का वही वही स्टोरी है, दोनों मिला क्या बात किया उसके बाद बाद में क्या हुआ, वही वही सारा चीज है नोवेल में। ठीक है? सो जस्ट रिमेंबर दैट विलियम ब्रैडशॉ मेट आर्थर नॉरिस ऑन अ ट्रेन। दैट्स व्हाई द टाइटल इज मिस्टर नॉरिस चेंजेस ट्रेन। ओके, then the next important novel is the Berlin stories. Okay, the collection of stories. And under this collection, later on, his two novels has been published. What are the two novels? Mr. Norris Changes Train and Goodbye to Berlin. Goodbye to Berlin is very important novel written by Christopher Isherwood. ठीक है? तो मिस्टर नॉरिस चेंजेस ट्रेन का हमने स्टोरी देखा, गुड बाय टू बर्लिन का भी देखेंगे। तो ये दोनों जो नोवेल है, दोनों किसमें पब्लिश हुआ? एक कलेक्शन में जिसका नाम था द बर्लिन स्टोरीज। ठीक है? आर यू राइटिंग द नेम ऑफ द कैरेक्टर्स?
Yeah.
Do write it. Okay. So make a kind of character sketch by using arrow and all. so that you can write it in less time. So Mr. Norris changes trains and Goodbye to Berlin. Uh, these two novels were published in this collection, the Berlin short stories, Berlin stories. Now, Mr. Norris changes train. I have already told you the story. In Goodbye to Berlin, you will find the incidents which were happening when Hitler was gaining the power in Germany. Okay. See, from the title itself, it is clear no, that Isherwood left Berlin because of the rise of power of Hitler, isn't it? He left Berlin. So he's saying, goodbye, Berlin. I'm going. I'm going to America. Goodbye to Berlin. Just remember like this, simple. If you remember Germany and Berlin, you will remember almost all the works of Christopher Isherwood. Okay, so just make like this. That good. He's saying goodbye to Berlin because Hitler is rising in power there. So he's writing these incident in Goodbye to Berlin. That whatever was happening before the rise of power of Hitler and after the rise of Hitler. Okay, so he's writing those incidents in Goodbye to Berlin novel. Okay, that's the story. Then we have The World in the Evening. This novel is narrated in the first person by protagonist Stephen Monk. The experiences of Stephen Monk are broken into three sections. Okay. Then Single Man. Single Man is a novel written in 1964. It is set in Southern California. Okay. It is set in Southern California. It is a story of Professor George. Okay, he's a professor. Professor George. One day in the life of Professor George. Okay, एक दिन का ही कहानी है. प्रोफेसर जॉर्ज के लाइफ का एक दिन का कहानी को बता रहा है इसमें. ठीक है, सिंगल मैन. सिंगल मैन टॉक्स अबाउट वन डे इन द लाइफ ऑफ प्रोफेसर जॉर्ज. GORG. ठीक है, लिख लिया.
Okay.
हम्म.
Yeah.
Now, the last work, Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God, published in 1944 with Prabhananda. That's what I was referring to. That's why it is important to remember Huxley and Isherwood because they have this Eastern connection with the Eastern philosophy. And right now, they are trying to give emphasis to these authors more. I mean, the NTA will ask you about the British authors who were associated with Eastern philosophy, such as W.B. Yeats, T.S. Eliot, Aldous Huxley, Christopher Isherwood. So do remember these authors. ओके. भगवत गीता जो था उसका
Okay.
ट्रांसलेशन किया था दोनों ने मिलके, प्रभानंद और क्रिस्टोफर ईशरवुड ने. एंड ईशरवुड वाज
Okay.
आल्सो एसोसिएटेड विद वेदांतिक सोसाइटी. सो दीज मच ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन दैट यू नीड टू गेन फ्रॉम ईशरवुड. मैंने तो ये प्ले सब के बारे में, सारा प्ले के बारे में भी आपको कैरेक्टर या थोड़ा बहुत स्टोरी बताया. उतना भी नहीं था इम्पोर्टेंट सारा डिटेल में पढ़ना, बट स्टिल आई से. ओके.
You have to read summary also.
नो नो नो, द इंफॉर्मेशन दैट आई हैव गिवन यू सो फार दैट इज इनफ फ्रॉम ईशरवुड. ठीक है, आपको बाद में जाके कुछ
हाँ.
इसमें एक्स्ट्रा नहीं पढ़ना है, ना ब्राम स्टोकर में. ठीक है,
हाँ.
जितना मैंने
हाँ.
बोला है ब्राम स्टोकर के बारे में भी वो भी याद रखिएगा आप. ठीक है, ब्राम स्टोकर का हो सके इफ पॉसिबल रीड दी प्लॉट. ओके, रीड दी प्लॉट. दैट नोवेल इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके.
Dracula.
Yeah, Dracula. Read the plot from Core Zero material or Lit Chat. If you don't want to see the obscene and explicit scenes in the movie, then read the plot at least. Okay, fine. So that much you need to remember from Christopher Isherwood. अगर कहीं पे नहीं लिख पा रही हैं, मैं ज्यादा तेज हो जा रहा हूँ, रुकने बोलो, उसको लिखो. Ultimately, that will stay with you. Okay. Now let us come to Bertrand Russell. Okay, Bertrand Russell. Bertrand. Yes. He's a philosopher, as I have already told you that he's a philosopher. But because he got the Nobel Prize, that's why he became important. And his all the works are almost all the works are philosophies. Okay, because as I have told you, he was a philosopher. So all his works are associated with philosophy. Okay, he's also known as the founder of analytical philosophy. Okay, founder of analytic philosophy. He was a philosopher, logician, mathematician, historian, social critic, and political activist. Okay. Now, if you talk about his works, On Denoting is very important work. His philosophical essay, On Denoting, has been considered the paradigm of philosophy. Okay. Everyone used to refer to this particular work. This is very important. On Denoting, you do not need to go into detail. Okay, you do not need to, these are all philosophies. You do not need to read the plot and everything because philosophy actually doesn't have any plot. It has only complex ideas, which is hard to understand. So I will not ask you right now at this fagging to read these things. Okay. Just remember the title, All On Denoting has been considered the paradigm of philosophy. Then Russell was a prominent anti-war activist. Again, this kind of historical events or the personal biographical information can be asked in UGC-NET. Okay, that who among the following is associated with pacifism? Okay, anti-war activist or championed anti-imperialism. So it is Bertrand Russell. Perhaps that was also the reason because of which he got the Nobel Prize. Okay. In 1950,
Okay.
Russell was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. See, he was a philosopher, but he got the Nobel Prize in Literature in recognition of his varied and significant ideas and freedom of thought. He campaigned against Adolf Hitler, then criticized Stalinist totalitarianism. Who, who is the another author who criticized the Stalin and totalitarianism? Let me know.
But I guess
I have told this.
George Orwell.
George Orwell, exactly. What he said, everything that I have read
God.
so far is against totalitarianism. Okay, very good. This is how
Yeah.
you have to make connection. Okay, totalitarianism के against और कौन था तो ऑरवेल था. ठीक है, तो बर्टन रसेल भी था. This is how you will make connection
Okay.
between two authors. That's the best way to remember things. Okay. Now,
Okay.
A History of Western Philosophy, 1945, became a bestseller and provided Russell with a steady income for the remainder of his life. Right? Now, one important information is that Russell made a cameo appearance playing himself in the anti-war Hindi film Aman, which was released in India in 1967. See, he was also a kind of actor. He played a cameo in this film, Hindi film Amar, which was released in India in 1967. He died of influenza on 2nd of February 1970 at his home. He belongs to analytic school of philosophy and was influenced by P.B. Shelley and J.S. Mill. If you remember J.S. Mill, he was a philosopher as well as he was also associated with feminism, isn't it? There is this
Yeah.
very famous work
Yeah.
written by J.S. Mill. Now, as I have told you, On Denoting is important work published in 1905. Then, Problems of Philosophy. Problems of Philosophy is not listed here. Can you see Problems of Philosophy in the list?
No, it's
No.
not
And
there.
this question has been asked in UGC-NET. They have asked who has written Problem of Philosophy. Okay. See, they have
Okay.
asked something which is a book of philosophy, not literature. Literature is so vast. You cannot predict what they are going to ask. That's why write it down. Problems of Philosophy, published in 1912. A question came in UGC-NET from this. Okay.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
philosophical work deals with the idea of reality and truth. He is saying that to perceive any reality, we need the senses. Okay. The senses such as color, sound, smell, and taste. आप टेबल को टेबल कब कब बोली जब आप वुडन कलर देखी उसको अपने हाथ हाथ से टच किया ठीक है तो टच कलर साउंड स्मेल टेस्ट ये सब पार्ट ऑफ सेंसेस है ना
Mm.
so he's saying you can perceive the reality and truth only with your senses. Okay, that's how
Okay.
he concludes problems of philosophy. Then a history of Western philosophy. History of Western philosophy. Principia Mathematica. Okay, Principia Mathematics. This is also important one. So, on denoting Principia Mathematics, a history of the Western philosophy and problems of philosophy. That much work you need to remember. और बाकी जितना है उसको नहीं भी याद रखने से चलेगा, ठीक है? ये चार वर्क को याद, fine. And remember that Bertrand Russell is important because he has got Nobel Prize in Literature in 1950. Okay. Like I've said, these are all minor authors. Very less detail you need to know about these authors. Okay. You do not need to read them in detail. Now let us come to J.B. Priestley. Hmm. J.B. Priestley was a soldier during the World War the First. Okay, he was a soldier in World War the First, and later in the World War Second, he was working for British Board Casting. Okay, BBC. He was working for BBC as a journalist in World War the Second. Okay, his full name is John बॉयंटन प्रिस्टली. देखो ये फुल नेम भी कभी कभी एक जैसे वर्ल्ड लिटरेचर का जर्मन ऑथर का एक बार फुल नेम पूछ दिया था, ठीक है? सो ट्राई टू रिमेम्बर द फुल नेम ऑफ ऑल द ऑथर्स. ओके, जॉन बॉयंटन प्रिस्टली. ही वाज born in England, Yorkshire. uh, his his first major successful work was his novel The Good Companions. Very important novel. Okay, this novel is important. The Good Companion, which earned him James State Black Memorial Prize, and he became a national figure. There is nothing, I mean, in Good Companion, you will find the story which is progressing, means many of the people met, they are sharing the experience. That's it. That is not of much detail, okay? But then it was captivating or capturing the idea, the mind of the people of that time who were living between the two world wars. Okay, that's why it is important. The incidents going on at that time has shaped the psychology of many of the people of the time, and that you will see in The Good Company. That's why it becomes important. Okay, his first major success was his novel The Good Companions, which earned him James State Black Memorial Prize, and he became a national figure. After the success of his novel The Good Companions, Priestley adapted it into a play in 1931 with E. Knobloch. Okay, Knobloch. His debut play was Dangerous Corner. Again, very important play. It's a debut play and also important. I will tell you why. Okay, Dangerous Corner. Just remember right now. During World War II, Presley became a popular broadcaster of BBC Radio. He published the collected version of his broadcast in two volumes. This is not so important. He died in 1984. 1984, when the novel. I mean, what is the? I mean, who wrote this novel? 1984.
Acharya.
George R. He became a member of Order of Merit in 1977. Priestley married three times. Wow, congratulations. Okay, so he married three times. Now let's see the major works of Priestley. The Good Companion, his first novel, very important novel. Now, the thing is that it is written here that Robert Johnson is the protagonist of the novel. This detail is not right. Okay, because I have searched the Wikipedia entry and I found there is no character with this name, Robert Johnson. Okay, so the characters in this novel are Jess Oakroyd, Jess J E S Jess Oakroyd. Oakroyd. Okay, have you written it?
Okay.
Jess
I'll just okay.
Oakroyd. Jess
Yeah.
Oakroyd. Elizabeth Trant. Elizabeth Trant. Trant. Elizabeth Trant. Fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Inigo Jolifant. Inigo. Inigo Jolifant. Jollifant. Jolifant. Fine. These three characters are there who are somehow disgusted with their life. They want to live a free life, and that's why they went for an adventure. Okay, and they met. These three people met each other during their adventurous life. Okay, Jessica Ackroyd, Elizabeth Trant, and Inigo
Ego.
Joliffe. They met during an adventure. Okay, now Elizabeth Trant is a kind of um, what should we call that? Spinster. Yeah, spinster. The girl who doesn't get married for longer period of time, we call them
Yes.
spinster, no? So
Mm,
Elizabeth Trent who
mm,
is a spinster. Jess Ackroyd is very fed up with his normal life. That's why he went for adventure. And same is the case with Inigo Jollypant. So they made how their adventures goes on. They later on form a band, a group of band. They were working together. Lots of things happen. So these are the events that are there in the novel. Fine. Good
mm,
Companion, written in 1929, it captures the mood of the time, of that time in which Priestley lived. Okay, Jess Ackroyd, Elizabeth Trent, Inigo Jollypant are the characters. Now let us come
mm,
to the next important work, which is Angel Pavement. Angel Pavement. Okay, it is dedicated to C.S. Evans. It was published in 1930, not 1939. It was published in 1930. Okay, the next year of The Good Companion. Good Companion was published in
mm,
1929. Angel Pavement was
mm,
published in 1930. This is wrong information. Correct it. Okay. It is set
mm,
during the Great Depression. Can you tell me what is Great
mm,
Depression?
mm. Listen, like is economically.
Yes, yes, yes. Economically, the stock market crisis that happened in 1929 in America. Okay, USA. So people who were rich, today they become a kind of beggar the next day. Okay. So it was said during
Mm,
the Great Depression of America. Okay. See, it was published in
mm,
1930 and Great Depression started in 1929. So it is talking about that. Fine. Angel Pavement. That's
mm,
that much information you need
mm,
to gain. Then we have the plays, important plays. Dangerous Corner. Dangerous Corner. Here, corner. Dangerous Corner actually stands for the secret that we have. Okay. कॉर्नर बोलते हैं ना,
okay.
कॉर्नर में कुछ छुपा के हमने रख दिया. ठीक है. तो
Mm,
dangerous corner
mm,
actually refers to the secret, okay, that we have. So there is a party going on, and husband and wife they are in that party, and during the course of the party they come to know about each other many of the secrets. Okay, that is the story. मतलब उन्होंने शादी कर लिया,
mm,
उनको पता ही नहीं था सेक्रेट एक दूसरे का.
mhm.
और जब वो चल
Okay.
रहा है वो पार्टी और उसमें बहुत सारा सेक्रेट उन लोगों को एक दूसरे के बारे में पता चला. सो दैट इज डेंजरस कॉर्नर. सो डू यू हैव एनी डेंजरस कॉर्नर?
Yeah.
नो. फाइन. ग्रेट.
Yeah.
Then we have time and conveys. Time and conveys. Now, time and conveys is important because it is one of the play which is there which is considered to be Priestley time plays. ठीक है. Priestley time plays बोल के एक term है. Priestley, जेबी प्रिस्ले का प्रिस्ले. Priestley time plays. TIMEPLAYS. ठीक है. एक टर्म है जो प्रिस्ले के लिए यूज किया जाता है. Priestley time play. Why? Because this Priestley time play actually stands or constructs its plot around a particular concept of time. Okay, particular concept of time. ठीक है. इसका जो प्लॉट होगा
Okay.
ये कंस्ट्रक्ट होगा एक पर्टिकुलर कंसेप्ट ऑफ टाइम पे. ठीक है. चाहे 24 घंटा की स्टोरी
Mm,
हो, चाहे कोई हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट हो, ऐसा कुछ. So it constructs its plot around a particular concept of time. So this is known as Priestley time play. So time and the conveys and an inspector calls, this one, an inspector calls, these two plays falls under the category of Priestley time plays. Okay, these two plays falls under the category of Priestley time plays. Have you written it? Priestley time plays.
mm.
What is
Yeah,
Priestley
time
time
and
plays?
corner inspector.
Constructs its plot around a particular concept of time. Write it down. Okay. Priestley time plays
Mm,
means constructs its plot around a particular concept of time.
Hmm.
Over and out?
Hmm.
Okay. Now let us come to Inspector Cause. This is again a kind of important play. It is a three-act play set in 1912. It is a three-act play set in 1912, which took place in a single night. Okay.
Okay.
अभी हमने पढ़ा था ईशरवुड में सिंगल डे का कहानी किसमें द सिंगल मैन में है ना और
हाँ
इंस्पेक्टर कॉल का
single
सिंगल नाइट का कहानी
single time.
ठीक है
Hmm.
An Inspector Call
Hmm.
is three-act play set in 1912 took place in a single night. Write it down. It belongs to drawing room theatre. So while I was discussing the playwright, I told you about drawing room theatre, that incident that took place in drawing room. Okay, that kind of theatre
Hmm.
evolved during the modern and postmodern age. So this is known as drawing room theatre. Okay. So
Hmm.
what happens in this three-act play? The three-act play, which took place in a single night, which belongs to drawing room theatre. What happens is that a lady murder has been committed by someone. Okay, a lady is dead. She has been murdered, killed by someone, and an inspector arrives. Okay, he arrives and he start to interrogate the people. Okay, that's why they are saying an inspector call. इंस्पेक्टर सबको बुला रहा है सबको इंटरोगेट कर रहा पूछ रहा है कि वो लेडी का उसका मर्डर
Okay.
मिस्ट्री काइंड ऑफ फाइन
Hmm.
so you
Yeah,
can
fine.
relate it from the title itself that a lady has been killed and an inspector
Expected
came to
calling
interrogate the
everyone.
people. Okay, he is
Hmm.
interrogating and calling each of them who were there during the incident. Fine.
Yeah.
He has also written a collection of essays. The name of the essay, the collection is I for One. I for One. Write it down. I for One. Collection of essays written by Priestley.
I for one.
I for One.
Oh.
Okay. So that much of information you need to, um, keep in mind associated with Bram Stoker, Christopher Isherwood, Bertrand Russell, and J.B. Priestley. In the next class, we will be discussing about Somerset Maugham, Doris Lessing, then J.K. Rowling, William Golding. Okay, because Doris Lessing is
Yeah.
very extensive, we have to read in much detail Somerset Maugham and Doris Lessing. So perhaps I will be able to finish Somerset Maugham, Doris Lessing, J.K. Rowling, and not William Golding. I won't be able because William Golding in itself he is a canonical kind of author. So I need time for that. Okay, so we will be covering three more author in the next class.